It is Tuesday, October 27. Welcome to CGN News. Allegations of misconduct are being leveled at teachers across the Caribbean as concerns over this year's Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate (CSEC) and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination (CAPE) deepen. A report by an independent review team has found evidence of major discrepancies attributed to the moderation system used this year by the Caribbean Examinations Council, the CXC. According to the report, fraudulent school-based assessment (SBA) submissions from teachers and leaked examination questions were among a number of infractions emerging from the review into this year's exams. But the panel also concluded that there was enough evidence of discrepancies on the part of the CXC to justify a full remarking of the papers. The team was established by CXC Chairman Sir Hilary Beckles to probe the results after worse than anticipated grades led to protests by pupils, parents and teachers across the region. Tropical storm Zeta strengthened to a hurricane Monday afternoon as it continued on a track for Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula resorts. Zeta, the earliest ever 27th named storm of the Atlantic season, was centered about 105 miles southeast of Cozumel Island Monday afternoon, the U.S. National Hurricane Center said. It had a maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour. Forecasters said Zeta was expected to move over the Yucatan Peninsula late Monday before heading into the Gulf of Mexico and then approach the U.S. Gulf Coast by Wednesday, though it could weaken by then. The Hurricane Center said Zeta could bring 4 to 8 inches of rain to Mexico, the Cayman Islands, and parts of Cuba before drenching the central U.S. Gulf Coast. Caribbean community Caricom leaders are scheduled to meet on Thursday to discuss the ongoing impact of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic on the regional economies and the general populations. The 41st regular meeting of the Caricom leaders will be held virtually under the chairmanship of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. An official of the Caricom Secretariat told the Caribbean Media Corporation, CMC, that the Caribbean Public Health Agency, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, and the University of the West Indies will make presentations to the leaders. As of October 23, the 15-member Caricom countries have recorded 955 deaths and 42,765 positive cases. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, says countries in the Caribbean must maintain vaccination against poliomyelitis during the COVID-19 pandemic in order to prevent outbreaks. In a message to mark World Polio Day on Saturday, PAHO said that the Americas were the first region to be declared polio-free more than 25 years ago. PAHO emphasized that this achievement can only be protected with continued vaccination. Over the past few years, polio vaccination coverage rates for the Americas have been below the recommended 95%. Coverage in 2020 might be lower due to disruptions in primary healthcare activities caused by the pandemic. Jamaica is expected to incur a repair bill of more than $1 billion following the torrential rains that set off landslides and flooding, damaging roads and other infrastructure across the island. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie made the revelation to Television Jamaica on Monday night, but that toll could rise as assessments pour in. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is expected to make a statement to the nation today in Parliament on the damage estimate and recovery plan. The Bahamian government says it will review the legalization of a hemp industry and inject $250 million to aid small business development. Prime Minister Hubert Minnis made the announcement as he tabled the executive summary report submitted by the Economic Recovery Committee. The committee has proposed a broad range of reforms and recommendations intended to seed new industries and economic opportunities. The Prime Minister said Bahamian-owned companies must lead any new hemp industry. Earlier this year, the Bahamas National Commission on Marijuana recommended the decriminalization of possession of small amounts of marijuana and allowing medicinal marijuana use. The U.S. Senate has confirmed Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court in a victory for President Donald Trump a week before the general election. Trump's fellow Republicans voted 52-48 to approve the judge, overcoming the unified opposition of Democrats. The 48-year-old took the oath of office at the White House alongside President Trump. Her appointment seals for the foreseeable future a 6-3 conservative majority on the top U.S. judicial body. The new justice is the third appointed by the Republican president. The federal appeals court judge from Indiana fills the vacancy left by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a liberal icon who died last month. China has ordered 6 United States-based news media to file detailed information about their operations in China, the latest volley in a long battle with the Trump administration. The bureaus of ABC, the Los Angeles Times, Minnesota Public Radio, the Bureau of National Affairs, Newsweek, and Feature Story News were given 7 days to declare information about their staff, finances, operations, and real estate in China. The announcement came 5 days after the U.S. said 6 Chinese media would have to register as foreign missions, which requires them to file similar information with the U.S. government. The media is one of several areas of growing tension between the two countries as the Trump administration ramps up pressure on China over trade, technology, defense, and human rights. Protests took place across Italy on Monday over new restrictions to curb the country's second wave of COVID-19. Clashes were reported in the northern cities of Milan and Turin, where petrol bombs were thrown at officers. In Milan, tear gas was used to disperse protesters, and thousands of people gathered in the center of Naples. The demonstrations began soon after the national government's order to close restaurants, bars, gyms, and cinema came into effect at 6 p.m. local time. The violence was blamed on extremist agitators. While an initial national lockdown earlier this year saw little resistance, the announcement of renewed measures has been met with immediate pushback. Small businesses argue that they are still recovering from the first lockdown and that more restrictions could bankrupt them. A photo of a Komodo dragon facing a truck has raised concerns about a Jurassic Park attraction being built on an Indonesian island. The BBC reports that the multi-million-dollar site is part of the government's plans to overhaul tourism in Komodo National Park. The viral image has sparked questions about the impact on the conservation of the dragons, the world's largest lizards. Officials said no dragons had been harmed and their safety was paramount. Komodo dragons are only found in the wild on a handful of Indonesian islands. They draw visitors from around the world, and in recent years authorities have grappled with how to manage conservation and tourism in the national park. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.